Right now at 6, a former NBA star facing illegal gambling allegations, and NBC4 investigates, digging deeper. How the case could be connected to a missing mother.
Opting out, Kamala Harris will not run for governor of California. We'll break down that decision.
Plus, loved ones left behind, the family struggling to get by after immigration operations in Camarillo.
NBC4 News at 6 starts with breaking news.
And we begin at 6 tonight with high-end illegal poker games under investigation in Los Angeles. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Michael Brownlee. A federal indictment unsealed just today accuses former NBA All-Star Gilbert Arenas and 7 others of running an underground poker game at Arenas' home in Encino. Now, he pleaded not guilty in court today and was granted bond. Tonight, NBC4 investigates that alleged gambling ring may have a connection to the unsolved disappearance and death of a woman from West LA. Heidi Plank vanished in 2021, and detectives working that case also took part in some of the investigation into the gambling case unsealed today.
Our investigative reporter Eric Leonard joins us live now with more information.
Well, we've learned from some of our law enforcement sources familiar with the Heidi Plank case that investigators examining her disappearance were present in early 2022 when federal agents served search warrants at a home in Sherman Oaks. That house is part of the case that led to the indictments today of 8 people, including former NBA player Gilbert Arenas, who federal prosecutors have accused of taking part in running an illegal gambling operation. This is video from News Chopper 4 of federal agents serving a search warrant in 2022 at a home on Chandler Boulevard in Sherman Oaks. A copy of that warrant that we've obtained shows agents suspected the home was being used to host illegal gambling events that were tied to an organized crime ring running secret poker rooms all over L.A. And this is that same house days later on fire in what several law enforcement sources say they believe was an arson designed to destroy potential evidence. That search on Chandler, court papers say, led to the search of Gilbert Arenas' home in Encino that the indictment unsealed this week says was being used around the same time to host underground gambling events. And the law enforcement sources told NBC4 they believed there was a possible connection between this gambling ring and Heidi Plank's disappearance. They told us associates of the same organized crime group that's the subject of the indictment today were also linked to an illegal gambling room running inside an apartment at a high-rise building in downtown L.A. There's no indication Arenas or anyone named in the case today was involved in the downtown poker room. But that building is where Plank was last seen and where her dog was found wandering on an upper floor. The sources told us evidence found at the Chandler search helped build the gambling case charged this week, but it did not help explain Plank's disappearance. She attended her son's football game in Downey that day, left at halftime, and was later recorded by security cameras near the apartment building downtown. Her car was found a week later, parked in a different building's garage. The LAPD said it found forensic evidence at that first apartment building that suggested she died in some kind of incident, and in turn, that led to the Chiquita Canyon landfill, where detectives spent days unsuccessfully searching for her remains. Plank's body was never found, and a judge declared her dead in 2023. Her family and friends continue to try to find answers. They even put up billboards a couple of years ago begging the public for information on the case. Now, our contacts tell us they think Plank may have met up with someone who was either a participant in this illegal gambling room in that building, or she, in fact, went into the room herself, and that's part of why detectives have told us they've had so much difficulty getting potential witnesses to cooperate. Plank's disappearance is unsolved. No one has been arrested in that case. No suspects have been named by police. I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News.
Eric, thank you for that. Former Vice President Kamala Harris says she will not run for governor of the state of California. Today's announcement ends months of speculation following her loss in the 2024 presidential race.
All right, NBC4's Conan Nolan joins us live now to break down Harris's announcement. And Conan, you're getting some reaction as well.
That's right. You know, being governor of California does not preclude one from running for president. But in this case, it was widely believed if she did run, Kamala Harris would be giving up a second try for the White House. With today's decision, she's keeping that option open. The announcement came in a social media post. Former Vice President Kamala Harris deciding that after considerable reflection, she will not run for governor of California in 2026. For now, my leadership and public service will not be in elected office, she states. I look forward to getting back out and listening to the American people, helping elect Democrats across the nation. Harris won California in last year's presidential race by over 3 million votes, and as such was believed to be the overwhelming favorite if she were to run for governor.
If Kamala Harris had announced her candidacy for governor in December or January, it might have been hers for the asking.
Dan Schnurr teaches political communication at USC, Pepperdine, and UC Berkeley.
But as the months have passed, and as a field of Democratic candidates have emerged here and made it clear that they are not backing down, even if she did run, and as the months have passed and more California Democrats have watched the Trump presidency and reflected back at what didn't happen in November of 2024, it's easier to understand why she might have decided to avoid the risk that would have come for running for governor and then not being successful.
Among those who are not surprised by her decision, Harris's one-time mentor and boyfriend, Willie Brown. The former San Francisco mayor and assembly speaker, now 91, recently on the State of Gold podcast, where he said Harris could easily lose the race, particularly against someone new to politics, such as former LA mayoral candidate Rick Caruso.
The public is looking for somebody that represents not yesterday, for somebody who is fresh and relatively new. He is exactly that.
Caruso is believed to be considering either a race for governor or a rematch for mayor against Karen Bass. Harris received praise from fellow Democrats in the field of candidates for governor, some of whom, such as Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis, had said she would leave the race if Harris had decided to run. Another announced candidate, former LA Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, also praised Harris in a social media post, but had predicted this was not her race.
I don't think she's getting in this race. I think she's going to make another run for the presidency.
That again was from December of 2024. Now, Kamala Harris could run for president, but remember, she's 0 for 2 in campaigns for the White House, so there's a possibility her arrival on the ballot last year is the last time her name will go before voters. I'm Conan Nolan, NBC4 News.
All right, Conan, thank you. The man accused of driving his car into a crowd outside of a nightclub in East LA appeared in court earlier today. The arraignment for Fernando Ramirez was ultimately postponed, and he remains in jail. Bail's been set at $37 million. Prosecutors say Ramirez drove into that crowd after being kicked out of that club on July 22nd. 37 people were injured.
We're now getting a look at some of the tsunami waves after yesterday's powerful 8.8 earthquake. This is video from the eastern part of Russia near the epicenter of that quake. That quake so powerful, it triggered tsunami alerts for countries across the Pacific, including Japan, Hawaii, and here on the West Coast. There you see what appears to be some flooding there. But tonight, all the tsunami advisories along the coast of California have been lifted, although people are still being asked to avoid the beaches. This is a live look from Long Beach. Hard to avoid this, but it is gorgeous, and we're approaching nightfall. So maybe people will stay off the beach. Melissa McGee is here now with more in the First Alert forecast. Melissa.
Yeah, Colleen, we're still watching the waters very closely. Like you mentioned, the tsunami advisories for all of California, the coastline, those have lifted, but we still have a special weather statement for LA and Ventura counties, and this is going to stay up for the next few days. We do have a concern of moderate to high risk for rip currents as we get into the rest of tonight and even into our Thursday. So a reminder to be alert, check with your lifeguards before you enter the water. So let's talk about what we can anticipate right along the coast. Tsunami advisories have been canceled across our region. There still is an enhanced current or a concern for that. As we go throughout the next few days, this will slowly decrease in magnitude. So that is some good news. But boaters still need to watch the harbors and the channels very closely. Inland, it's all about the warmth. That is going to continue across our region right through our Sunday. Temperatures away from the coast and the water in the 80s and the 90s. We'll talk about the details all coming up with your First Alert forecast. Colleen, back over to you.
It is 6:10. Let's take a look at the top stories happening around Southern California.
Starting with NBC4's Alex Rozier on a story NBC4 Investigates was first to break this morning.
I'm Alex Rozier. NBC4 Investigates was the first to tell you about an attempted break-in at the Hollywood Hills home of Dodger superstar pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It happened around 5:30 this morning. Thankfully, nothing was taken. No one was hurt. Law enforcement sources say 3 people jumped the fence, broke a glass door, but ran away after someone inside turned on the lights. This attempted break-in happened as the Dodgers are on the road in Cincinnati.
I'm Hetty Chang in Anaheim, where today healthcare advocates are marking a major milestone, the 60th anniversary of Medicaid and Medicare. But on this anniversary, they say the programs that help millions of older and low-income Americans are under attack. The big, beautiful bill is projected to cut $1 trillion of food and healthcare assistance over the next 10 years. Healthcare advocates are using this day as a day to raise awareness.
I'm Ted Chen in Arcadia, where about 100 kids are inside this movie theater right now watching this movie, Bad Guys 2, which comes out this week, and it stars Sam Rockwell and Craig Robinson and Awkwafina, among other stars. And right after the movie, they'll be getting free backpacks as part of the NBC4 and Telemundo 52 Supporting Our Schools campaign, which distributes backpacks and other school supplies throughout the region. Today's focus is on families impacted by the Eden fire.
All right, Ted, thank you. And remember, you can help students get ready for the new school year. Now through August 11th, you can make a donation to support youth programming at the YMCA of Metropolitan Los Angeles. To donate or just to learn more, just scan the QR code right there.
Department of Homeland Security is making a major push to recruit new ICE agents by offering big incentives. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is calling this campaign Defend the Homeland, part of the Trump administration's efforts to crack down on immigration. New ICE recruits are being offered a $50,000 signing bonus and student loan forgiveness. People who sign on and become ICE deportation officers will have the benefit of more overtime pay. The package also touts enhanced retirement benefits.
An immigration activist accused of passing out face shields during anti-ICE protests will not face federal charges. This video here is from a demonstration last month in support of Alejandro Orellana after he was indicted by federal grand jury here on felony charges of conspiracy and aiding and abetting civil disorder. Well, today a judge dismissed that case. Orellana supporters celebrated those charges being dropped.
Protesting is not a crime. Protecting yourself and your community from police violence and draconian deportation policies is not a crime. And that is why Bilal's case fell apart, because they had nothing.
Now, it's unclear why this case was dropped. We've reached out to the U.S. Attorney's Office and are waiting to hear back.
Now, as we keep the immigration operations in focus, we're hearing from the families of 2 mothers swept up in the immigration raid at a cannabis farm in Camarillo. They are asking for help from the community. McCullough Medina tells us those mothers left 3 children with their fathers, and they say it is a struggle to make ends meet.
An emotional Justino Hernandez says it's been hard for him and his 2 young girls, the youngest one just 1 year old, now without their mother, Araceli.
No, pues preguntan por ella. Más la niña.
He says every day they ask for Araceli. She was detained after agents raided Glass House Cannabis Farm on July 10th. It's the same place where 57-year-old worker Jaime Alanis Garcia died after falling from a greenhouse roof during the raid. Justino says Araceli fainted from the tear gas deployed into the building she worked in. She was treated by medical staff and taken to detention, first to L.A., then El Paso, and now New Mexico. She's been there 2.5 weeks away from her family and kids. Mario Hernandez's wife Rutilia said take care of the kids after she called to tell him she also got caught up in the raids. She leaves behind an 11-year-old and a 2-year-old. Both her and Araceli are undocumented and do not have a criminal background. Mario's been taking care of all the kids, working and cleaning as well, and holding down a full-time job. He says rent is expensive and bills are piling up. The 2 dads have set up a GoFundMe to help raise money for the families. Both men are undocumented as well, and while they're still working, they fear arrest each time they leave the home and worry what would happen to their kids. Mario says they're living day by day. Justino is too, caring for his girls and saying what he needs most is his wife back home with her family. He says that's the most important thing. In Camarillo, I'm McCullough Medina, NBC4 News.
I want to give you a live look right now from our camera here. Catalina, beautiful shot here today. Turned out to be a nice day.
Certainly did. Meteorologist Melissa McGee is here with more in the First Alert forecast. Melissa?
Yeah, I liked it. Hopefully you guys did too.
I did. Eight for me.
Yeah, 80s and 90s inland. It is warming up for sure. So you notice that if you stepped outside. I want to show you what's going on. Michael and Colleen, as we show you the picture outside, we are looking live at downtown Los Angeles on this Wednesday, halfway through our work week, and the warmth continues. But let's head inland across the San Fernando Valley, check in on Burbank as we head throughout the next few days here. 96 degrees for you on your Thursday. Temperatures Friday, Saturday into our upcoming weekend and beyond. You can see very little change in the middle and upper 90s across the region. So temperatures, as we look at the weather headlines, will be warming by about 2 to 5 degrees over the next few days. Just small fluctuations in our temperatures. We're quiet for the rest of the week, and we're monitoring our coastline as well. The great news is tsunami advisories lifted for all of California, but still tracking the harbors very closely. As we look at some of the concerns, our beach concerns, strong currents are still possible. So reminder to stay out of the water or out of our waterways. No alerts for our area. That's great news, but we're monitoring the bays and the harbors, still getting reports of the water levels changing. The rises and the drops are still out there as everything kind of settles back down in the wake of this earthquake that triggered these warnings and advisories. The last time we had a tsunami advisory here in California was back in 2022. This was all because of the collapse of a volcano, and we certainly can see this type of activity from time to time. Just a reminder of that. 88 degrees in Van Nuys, Riverside, and at 89, 93 in Victorville, 87 Santa Clarita. It's cool in Oxnard and Ventura County, and at 67, nice in Santa Ana, and at 74. So satellite and radar showing you what's going on, and we've got this area of low pressure out across the Pacific Northwest and well off the coast there. That's really not moving, and we've got this ridge of high pressure that really hasn't budged much either. So because of that, the weather remains the same. Ridge of high pressure trying to get closer to us. So inland, it's going to be hotter with temperatures in the 80s and 90s. And because this ridge of high pressure is taking over, it's allowing for that sun to pop out a little faster. So just areas of patchy clouds across much of our region. High temperatures tomorrow across the area. 95 Victorville, 91 in Van Nuys, and 94 hot degrees in Santa Clarita. Your forecast for the basin, inland Orange County and the coast, 84 for you on your Thursday, 84 on your Friday. Temperatures for the coast and right through our upcoming weekend hanging out in the middle and lower 70s. For the valleys tomorrow, patchy fog in the morning, sun by the afternoon. The heat continues, and at 91, you can have these numbers staying in the 90s as we go throughout the rest of our work weekend to our upcoming weekend. Upper 90s on the way for the Inland Empire as we head into our Thursday and Friday. Bright and sunny for the high desert all the way through the end of our work week into the first weekend of August. 108 degrees for the low desert. The peak of that heat this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we're in at 110. Nice in the mountains around Thursday and Friday. Temperatures in the upper 70s, and we hit 80 degrees for our upcoming weekend.
New at 6, people who speak at the LA City Council meetings will be banned from using 2 words, including the N-word. The second word is an obscene term for women. The ban comes after years of speakers verbally attacking officials during these meetings. The City Council says speakers will now receive a warning for using offensive language, and if they continue, they will be removed and possibly banned from future meetings. That decision could be challenged in court.
And the LA City Council here voted today, giving this iconic motel in Hollywood landmark status. That unanimous vote makes this the Hollywood premier motel, the first motel on the city's historical cultural monuments list. And this motel has welcomed travelers since the 1960s. It was built to serve the post-war boom of tourists looking for a cheap place to stay near the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The motel has been used in television, film, and music videos, which include Twin Peaks, Fargo, and JT's Can't Stop the Feeling music video.